Thank you, Tim and your family. Thank you.
And for lending me your power and your voice to personally speak truth to power 9 days ago on our border. Today, we are here on Civic Plaza as our family stands with yours and families around our state, throughout our country, and throughout the world to demand that families are reunited. Now, this is my family, my wife Liz, and we can't imagine the heartache and the anger that folks are feeling all around our country. And I want to ask our First Lady to say a few words. Liz?
We just want to thank all of the organizers and all of you for showing up today, and all of the ways you will continue to raise your voice and exercise your power to reunite families and to work alongside us to continue to create an Albuquerque that is safe, that is inclusive, and innovative. Because we know, like you know, that the only way to do that is to create an environment here in this city and in our country as a whole where people, no matter their race or their religion, their socioeconomic background, their sexual orientation, or their immigration status, feel protected and supported and able to thrive.
Now, our trip to the border was a very emotional one. We stood there peering through the fence because they wouldn't let us in, watching a facility run by companies who are literally profiting from families being separated. What our children will point to as dark days in our country. But today, we are here to push back. We are here to resist. We are here to demand action against the injustice that will scar the history of this generation.
And what we as New Mexicans can do to bring about change. Come on up, our next governor, our Congresswoman. Yes! But think about how this has touched such a nerve in this country, where we have a little boy who's selling lemonade to raise money for separated families and children. Right? But this is a situation where everyone, irrespective of our abilities, our social status, our economic status, and even our age, are standing up against the worst thing I have seen this country do in my lifetime. Thursday, before I boarded a plane to come back to New Mexico, I went to immigration court. I know that in immigration courts all across the country, that toddlers, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 13, 15, 17, are going to court without lawyers, without having any understanding about the process. The process is incredibly complex. The Department of Justice objects to every continuance, every effort to give them a legal chance, a constitutional right to seek asylum and refuge. They are there in a courtroom in a language they do not understand by themselves, being moved between detention centers and shelter facilities. Now, the court I saw yesterday, everybody had a lawyer. And the court I saw yesterday had a judge who was clearly uncomfortable by two things. That I dragged about 10 members of Congress with me. And that the situation is completely unfair. But not all those judges feel that way. And we're going to take members of Congress to as many immigration hearings all across the country that we can get in cars and airplanes and vans so that we can witness the injustice and the unfairness, because the best way to move legislation and to stop this administration is to witness personally the detention facilities, the children who were separated, the unfairness of ICE and CBP at the border, the numbers of families who are being told to go back even when they're at a legal port of entry seeking asylum. We must witness, we must tell the truth, we must stand against these injustices, and here's what else we can do. We are going to force the administration to have a real plan with independent observers to reunite the more than 2,000 families who have been separated. 2, we are going to keep an independent oversight group to do everything they can to stop the injustices in these private federal prisons and detention centers, one of which is right here in New Mexico. We're going to keep fighting so that we can do fair immigration reform instead of allowing a president who has used babies and mothers and dreamers as political pawns to build a wall and end legal immigration.
I came to the U.S. when I was 14. I came with my parents, and now I'm a parent of a beautiful 5.5-year-old standing right here with me. And I gotta say that I never understood the depth of the sacrifice of my parents and the courage that it took for them to bring us to this country until I became a parent. That's when I understood how much it means to really fight for a future and a better life for those that come after us, and those that are here with us, and the ones that came before us. So I want to honor all of you all who are here today, who have fought this long fight before I was here, the ones that are here with me, and the ones that are coming after me. So we're here because ICE and Border Patrol, they're both part of the deportation force. These are agencies that have been roaming in our communities for a long time, and their only job is to terrorize our communities, to bring fear to our families, to traumatize our kids, ripping their parents, ripping kids from their families. Are we gonna allow that to happen in New Mexico? No! Are we gonna let them mess with us in our own backyard?
No! Hi, my name is Jocelyn.
And what do you think about the kids?
Kids needs to be together with their families. I'm going to sing a song for you guys.
Okay. 1.
Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegra, cielito lindo, los corazones.
Thank you. I sat along with my family crying day and night as we watched my father go on the verge of insanity, as my selfless grandmother made him promise that he would stay in the United States, even if it meant never seeing her again. On June 24th, 2016, I was granted advance parole through DACA and was able to travel to Chihuahua after a lifetime of not being in Mexico. On June 28th, one of the darkest moments of my life, my dear Yaya died in my arms. at that moment, I knew that my life would forever change. And I learned that though my yaya's physical self was not present anymore, her soul would forever walk by my side. On July 8th of 2016, I re-entered the United States for the first time ever with a legal entry, and I was held at the border for questioning in a small room where they held everyone that had been caught crossing the border. Little did I know that 4 hours would go by without any contact, any cell phone, any connection with anyone. And I was not told why. And I was there. The things I saw in that room will forever haunt me. And until this day, reassure me the need for representation in every sector. Until this day, I remember the fear I felt and how angry I felt for being scared of such an unjust system. Therefore, thinking about the separation of families and children have a very tangible and realistic feeling in my life.
We have here indigenous and mestizo peoples living in New Mexico who have imprinted on their DNA the same rhythms and dreams as their brothers and sisters in Mexico and across the Mestizo Americas. For us then, those children separated from their families at the U.S.-Mexico border are our children. Those mothers weeping to be reunited with their children are our mothers, and those fathers burning with outrage and anguish are our fathers.
Vietnamese to make students feel more welcomed. Neighbors packed lunches for their neighbors and bought their children bicycles. Car dealerships leased vehicles and provided refugees a lease-to-own agreements to give transportation to newcomers. This is a stark contrast to our past and present, but this shows us our capability. It shows that we are able to treat those seeking asylum and refuge with humanity and compassion.
The last couple of days have been very unsettling for me. We just heard from our Supreme Court and the decision to uphold the Muslim ban. Let's call it what it is. It is a Muslim ban, not a travel ban. This decision further emboldened a racist, fascist president.
Teacher Association with APS. She's also an activist and an active member with El Centro de Igualdad y Derechos. She is originally, she's originally from Tabasco, Mexico, no? And she and her family consider this city their beloved home. Hola, Albuquerque! Mi nombre es Hilaria Martínez. Soy una madre inmigrante y organizadora comunitaria y miembro del Centro de Igualdad y Derechos, una organización de derechos de inmigrantes y de justicia para los trabajadores, con sede en Albuquerque, con más de 4.500 miembros. La mayoría de los cuales tienen bajos salarios. Trabajadores, hoy estoy aquí para exigir la reunificación de familias, para detener la criminalización, detención y deportación de nuestras familias en la frontera y en nuestro patio, para poner fin a los centros privados de detención que se benefician del encarcelamiento y la persecución de nuestras comunidades. Como madre, entiendo que los padres deben soportar que les quiten a sus hijos de sus brazos. Trump miente sobre su eslogan, Make America Great Again. Today I am here to demand the reunification of families, to stop criminalization, detentions, deportations, our families on the border and here in our own backyard. And to end private detention centers that profit from the incarceration and persecute of our community. As a mother, I understand the suffering of parents parents must endure when their children are taken away from their arms. Trump is lying about his tagline, "Make America Great Again."
She's an undocumented organizer that has been fighting for the liberation and dignity of our community in New Mexico for over 8 years, and now has the privilege to lead the largest youth immigrant-led organization in New Mexico with 27 chapters across the state in 4 different cities. New Mexico Dream Team's Gabriela.
And growing up, it seemed to feel like there was no escape this reality, and having a constant reminder those around me were being hunted down, eventually deported, with uncles and cousins and my stepfather being ripped away from us. At the age of 15, we could no longer live with no pain of being separated from our family and decided to migrate back. There, I witnessed my family and community still fearing and extremely violence, causing the lack of economic and education opportunities. I heard and felt my community getting killed, murdered daily in our backyards. I lived and breathed a desperate feeling of needing to risk everything to be able to come back and to be able to dream again. And so we did. With my mother's courage, we grabbed our few belongings left here at home and searched for safety. But little did we know, I would witness my 17-year-old sister at the time get criminalized and detained by Border Patrol at El Paso Port of Entry. I don't think I will never forget this memory. I don't think I need to remind you all of the moral and human crisis our country has been facing, and now more than ever, with the separation of our families who are seeking asylum and the uncertainty of whether children will ever be united with their parents. The trauma that more than 2,000 kids at the border have already lived and dealing with, it is heartbreaking. And as long as ICE and Border Patrol continues to exist, this administration will use these agencies to drive the mass deportation force that keeps terrorizing and abolishing our communities now more than ever. So now more than ever, we need to abolish ICE.
This is why the problems we have today happen, because people are not voting. Vote the bums out.